Welcome, everybody, to the Locks DFS Podcast. Here with Adi and Taylor. I am your host, Christian Hardy. Here from locksdfs.com. If you don't know us yet, we have lineups and cheat sheets and all the things you need to make your lineups for DFS, for DraftKings and FanDuel. We're going to run down the Week 8 slate from top to bottom. We're recording this late on Friday night. We've got all the news we'll need other than what maybe the small base will get on Sunday. So we kind of set it up that way. How are you guys doing? How's your week been?
It's been good, bro. Today was a great day.
Yeah, today was a great day. Adi, I think it's like the second time this year, NHL season just started, already took down like another tournament. I'll let him talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was just an awesome slate, man. It was a 4-game slate for hockey. And it was just like there was kind of one obvious smash spot to me. Jammed it in, full Colorado stack. I mean, it seemed fairly straightforward. But then I think it was like the ancillary players, like the other guys who got the job done. So I think it was dope, man. It was dope. I mean, it was like a top. I mean, it was a top. I mean, we saw guys big GPP, so I guess top 1%, top 0.5%,
0.0001%.
Yeah, so it was dope.
Real quick, like I think we can genuinely say, like I really think that Adi's probably the sharpest hockey player that's sharing information.
No, dude, I just tweeted it. I swear to God, that I truly think that. I mean,
out of all there's lots of good hockey players, and obviously we acknowledge like there's a lot of other sharps out there, but I mean, no one else that is like Adi is sharing information. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of these sharps, like, I mean, they share information with each other.
Right.
We're all in constant communication. I'm kind of like out here just sharing it with people. But it's fun, man. Hockey's such a cool sport. It combines like the fluidity of soccer with like the aggressiveness of football. It's just like it's got everything, and it's just like it's so fun to watch. It's so like aesthetically pleasing. I love the fact that I got into hockey because of DFS. I was never into it before, but like about 4 years ago, I was like, you know what? Let me look into this sport. And it's just like it's straightforward. Research is it's almost like MLB in the sense that like it's very process based. You just do the same thing. Like NBA is a little more free flowing with the research, like because injuries and minute rotations and narratives and all this stuff. But other sports like hockey is just so process based, and that kind of works well for me. So
yeah. And then NBA real quick. How's that been this week? I know it's been doing well.
Yeah, I think we won FanDuel for the 4th night in a row. Won FanDuel and DraftKings tonight, GPPs. I don't know. I spend a lot of time on basketball now that it's here on top of NFL. Pretty much wake up in the morning, 7, 8 a.m., and that's what I do the entire day. That's it. My entire day goes into that, making these lineup for you guys, put a lot of work into it, and it's been fruitful as of late. Had a rough start, but the last like 4, 5, 6 days, it's been really good to me. And since I spent so much time doing this, I play Adi's lineups. I use our own service at Locks DFS, and I make money on the side just doing that. So, I can tell you our service is pretty good.
I should have said this at the top before we even talked about any of this, but this is like probably – I guess we'll have Adi's video and Taylor's video that you can also comment on tomorrow with like the final locks. But again, we're still running the giveaway every week, so that's incentive to comment on. If you're watching this on YouTube, it'll also be on iTunes. But if you're watching this on YouTube, you can comment. We're going to pick a random person who has been commenting to win a free pass to Lock DFS, and you can choose NHL, you can choose NBA, you can choose NFL, whatever you might want it to be. And you can and we'll invite you to select all that stuff, get you in there. That's another thing that we add. I didn't say that. On top of all the lineups and cheat sheets and all of that, we have our private Slack chat, which has been getting going. It's been a lot of fun to see that get going. All right. So let's kind of
real quick, not to interrupt, but tout yourself, bro. College football today.
Oh yeah, college football. Yeah. I broke the 200 mark. It always feels nice when you break the 200 mark in college football because it's like so attainable in this sport because it's just like there's crazy scores sometimes. But yeah, college football went well. I didn't get in a GBP on FanDuel because that website sucks, but I won all my 3-mans and then I was winning. I was probably top 1% in the tournament. So on DK, so in the main tournament. So that was cool. It was fun. Last week Mackenzie Milton just fucked me. So I'll say the F word. I'll drop it. I mean, true.
Yo, we don't have any fucking sponsors, so fuck it.
It was, bro. That Mackenzie Milton shit was crazy.
Horrible. It's like so many
Also-
other sharp people were on him. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Yo, to harp on the giveaway some more. Literally, all you have to do is subscribe on YouTube and then comment like your bold take of this NFL slate, and we'll select a winner on Sunday to win a pass to locksdfs.com. And those passes are worth like $250. So, and it's free to enter. So you might as well join. It's free. So
If you're not a member, we've got week and month passes, of course.
You hear that?
Yeah, we heard it.
Oh my God, it's New York. It's a Friday night, man. We always record these on Friday night, so it's just like it's popping out there.
But yeah, if you get in for a week, you'll get everything from. I mean, if you would have jumped in on Thursday, you would have got Thursday, but all the way till Monday night. So that's you can get week passes for NBA and NHL as well. They're all in there. If you have any questions, you can DM us at Locks DFS on Twitter. By the way, all of our other Twitter names at ByHardy, at Taylor Stuber, at Really Adi. So,
Yep.
All right, they're also in the description. All right, let's go through the injuries real quick, and then we'll kind of go through our general builds for the week. The first thing, the biggest piece, not the biggest piece of news, but I mean, it was kind of big this week. The Cowboys traded a first-round pick for Amari Cooper. And as I go through these, if you guys just want to comment on them, like kind of what you think will kind of open up for the Raiders, I guess there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the most fantasy relevant.
Taylor's cutting out.
Uh-oh.
No, Adi, you can take it. You know it.
Sure. I mean, yeah.
Go for it, Adi.
Yeah, it gives bumps to Martavis Bryant on the outside. He's emerging as a fairly chalky option at 3.7K on DraftKings. Jordy Nelson also gets a slight bump just because there's a few more targets to go around with Amari Cooper out there. Amari Cooper's role wasn't something that we were actively targeting, which could result in maybe some poor chalk that Christian has pulled up right now. But Martavis Bryant was out there for 74% of the snaps last week. He looked like he was already trying to take over that wide receiver role. And I think they're going to
Martavis neck tats, by the way.
Oh yeah, the next.
I've never noticed those before.
They're so hard. I mean, Martavis, prime Martavis for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah.
Because anyone like who may have just joined like Locks recently this year hasn't really been paying attention to NFL. Prime Martavis when he was on the Steelers, and I feel like we still haven't even seen prime Martavis. I hope he has a resurrection of his career, but prime Martavis was amazing, man. I'm pulling up this guy's player profile.
That was prime Ben too. That same time was prime Ben.
4.42. Oh my God, this guy's best comparable. Justin Hunter. Remember Justin Hunter?
Yep.
Oh yeah, what could have been, but opens up spots, usage bumps to Martavis Bryant, Jordy Nelson, and Jared Cook as well. Still not a very fantasy friendly situation in Oakland and being a receiver of Derek Carr's footballs, but a spot that I think we will be targeting this week because of the plus matchup versus Indianapolis.
There's Jordy's price of 4.7.
And just to add on to it, last week he had a season high 73% snap rate. He leads the team in a 25% market share of air yards. So in my eyes, he's taking over the Amari Cooper role, and it's the way I'm viewing it is like you're getting Amari Cooper for 3.7K. A similar situation, somewhat similar player, but for 3.7K. So it seems like a no-brainer play to me, at least in cash. Obviously, in FanDuel, when a cheap receiver like that, who isn't going to get very many targets, it's easily fadeable. But in cash, I don't think so.
Okay, let's move on. Next up is the Jets, who are just like completely decimated now that Bilal Powell has gone on IR this week. Robert Anderson went on IR. Anunwa is still out, which basically the first thing that makes me think about, I mean, there's other things to talk about here, but I mean, the Bears defense is like in a smash spot. Darnold's going to get ripped apart by this defense probably, especially on the road. But that said, there are a few other options like Crowell is probably going to end up getting a few more snaps. And then you've got Trenton Cannon. Am I saying it? Is that the first name?
Yeah, I think so.
I know it. Yeah. And then we've got Jermaine Kearse, who busted hard last week. And is also, I think, moved up in price a little bit. But is there anyone that you're interested in for the Jets, I guess, for cash games with all those injuries?
No.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I think Taylor's stuck, so should we just move on from the Jets?
Yeah, I think Taylor. I can answer for Taylor, and I can also say no.
What, am I stuck?
You were stuck. Now you're good.
You were stuck. But we
like last week, I thought I was so sharp fading Jermaine Kearse when he dropped a donut, and I was like, I faded him for Willie Snead. Well, Willie Snead only had like 2 catches, so I was like, Well, I'm in the same boat pretty much.
I ended up fading him, and my cheap wide receiver was, I think, Josh Reynolds. So when the Richard Sherman move broke, I pivoted onto Josh Reynolds, thinking it would be a good move. And he got that one target, 19 yards, and he almost scored it at 2, tackled at the 2.
Adi, is your mic plugged in?
Oh, no.
Yeah, just plug it in.
Sound like it?
You're kind of echoing.
This is how I used to do the pod, so I'm so used to just, like, talking through my laptop mic.
You're good. I should have mentioned this when we were on the Raiders with Amari Cooper, but Marshawn Lynch is out. We talked about this before we got on the podcast. Doug Martin's probably going to run as the first 2 down back, and then Jalen Richard might get a little bit of extra work, but he's still going to run as a pass-catching 3rd down back. Do you guys have interest here for cash? I'm guessing not.
No.
Yeah. But Lynch is out. And then the next guy we've got is Royce Freeman, who's going to be out this week. And that's going to open up Phillip Lindsey and a super high team total against the horrible Chiefs.
I was plugging this in. Did you you were talking about the Oakland running back situation?
Yeah.
I think you can play Jalen Richard. I think he's in play as a pass catching back. I mean, I think they're going to face negative game script. And Jalen Richard's targets are that of a wide receiver is 8, 6, 5, 7. No Marshawn Lynch opens up a few more carries between the tackles for him. Obviously Doug Martin gets a slight bump, but I expect Oakland to be trailing. Indianapolis plays at one of the fastest paces in the league. Actually, I believe it's the fastest situation neutral pace in the league. So a huge pace up bump, which is also good for Martavis Bryant as well.
I would love to hear like a compilation of all, because I feel like I've seen so many like RotoWorld or RotoWire blurbs about John Gruden talking about Doug Martin positively this year. And like he's not done anything. Like John Gruden's always like, yeah, we're gonna get Doug Martin more work. We're gonna get Doug Martin. And this dude hasn't done anything. This dude's dead. Like
that's crazy that you said that because I just Googled it. I mean, I just RotoWorld did it, and it really is. Like it says, Coach John Gruden said Doug Martin is ready to go as the Raiders quote.
It's been happening all year. It happened to didn't Lynch get banged up earlier in the year, I think too, and he was like Doug Martin.
Oh wow, I must have missed all that. But yeah, I'm not really on that, but it is a good spot. I'd rather go with the pass catcher, but it sort of feels like a Nick Chubb versus Duke Johnson spot last week. So,
which means they're both kind of gross.
Yeah, both kind of gross, but everyone played Chubb. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't really view it as that because I think they really trust Jalen Richard. I mean, you saw week 1 of this week when Lynch was healthy, in a negative game script for them. He had a 30% target share. For the Raiders, and I view the situation as
similarly. I'm guessing is what he's going to say next. All right, all right. And then the next thing we're going to talk about is Royce Freeman is out again. That's like a high total game. It's a Chiefs defense. So we have interest automatically there. Taylor's just. I know that we were talking about it before. Phillip Lindsey. I mean, we've got a lot of interest in Phillip Lindsey. He's priced up after his really solid game last week, and now he's got a good matchup. He should be involved in the pass game. Anyone want to take Phillip Lindsey?
Yeah, I mean, similar usage bump like without Royce Freeman. I think Devontae Booker is going to get a little bit more work in the pass game as well. But Phillip Lindsey can get targets, and he does, and he's talented in space with targets. So. I mean, you see he got 7 versus the Rams, 4-2. What about prior to that? I feel like he did get some targets earlier in the season too. 2-1-3. Yeah, so he gets targets in the passing game and a bump. He is their lead runner between the tackles, so he gets a big bump there as well.
Definitely be in the red zone as well, which the Chiefs are going to get back into the red zone over and over again because their defense is atrocious. I mean, like, the only reason their defense didn't get beat last week is because Andy Dalton is trash on primetime games. And also Marvin Lewis is the trash coach. But with that said, last injury, Cooper Kupp is doubtful, which should open up Reynolds again. And we talked about him on the podcast last week, Josh Reynolds, but he's going to be running out of the slot against –
No. He's outside. Robert Woods in the
slot. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. We talked about that last week on the podcast, actually.
Match spot, Robert Woods.
For sure. I mean, with Josh Reynolds, this is just a spot where you have to kind of take a stand as far as what the Rams are going to do. Because if the Rams are just going to ignore him like they did last week, then he's not in play, obviously. But, I mean, you could assume that the Rams game plan for having that Richard Sherman island available. And then when he was ruled out like a couple hours before lock or before that game started, it definitely they could have just rolled with their original game plan of not targeting Josh Reynolds, leaving him on an island and going to everyone else. So if you do think that he's going to be more part of the game plan, I mean, the important part, he was out there for 51 of 61 offensive snaps. So he was out there. So if you think they'll still incorporate him, then he's definitely in play. But I think the biggest bumps are definitely just Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks, and Todd Gurley in the past.
And since they're pretty much right at the same price, you guys do prefer Martavis over Josh Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, with all that said, the other thing I want to talk about, I guess, after the injuries, we're kind of trying to change this up a little bit because this week I feel like we have a pretty clear idea of what our build is going to be, and that's going with these expensive running backs, guys like Todd Gurley, James Conner, and Kareem Hunt. And I remember, I think it was actually a YouTube comment. Someone was just saying, like, the way to play this year in football, and I think it's especially true of this week, is just paying for these high-price guys and then making it fit, like the high-price guys in smash spots and then making it work. And that's really, really true this week, I think. But you guys want to talk about what your general build is this week?
I mean, I've always been like a more of a balanced kind of lineup guy, but when you have time to research and stuff, I think if you do your due diligence and you just get the smash spot expensive players and you have enough time to research, like there's players every week that are going to be like in the 4K range that are going to do really well. You just have to find which guys they are. Obviously, it's going to be more volatile, but like this week, guys like Gurley, Connor, and Kareem Hunt are in like I don't see many avenues to any of them busting for their given price.
Yeah, I think I'll probably echo that. I just think if you plug in Gurley, Connor, Hunt, or another running back that you feel strongly about is going to get like 20 touches for whatever price, I just think you guarantee yourself such a floor, such a workload floor, which is so important to do in cash games and in GPPs, man. It's a good core just to have because you plug in Gurley, Connor, and Hunt, you leave yourself having to pay down at wide receiver, obviously, but I think there's a chalk cheap defense. You can make it work. And if you plug those three guys in, you're guaranteeing yourself at least 75 touches, which is crazy. 75 touches right there for your three guys.
What kind of
and they all have the highest touchdown equity on their respective
Massive
teams on top of that. Yeah.
What kind of home favorites as well?
What kind of workload do you guys think for Phillip Lindsey? Like, are we thinking like 15 to 20, right? Touches wise?
Yeah.
I think if the game stays competitive and Kansas just doesn't run them out, he could definitely get like 14 to 16 carries, but I think it's probably going to be lower than that just because of the game script though. So but I think his targets will be up in the 6-ish range.
Yeah. I mean, we just saw this game last time. What they tried to do, they tried to rush Patrick Mahomes, get him out off the field as fast as they could, and then just run the ball. And it worked for the first half. And then in the second half, Patrick Mahomes got loose, and Kareem Hunt had a big game. So I think they're going to start off trying to run Lindsey as much as they can, try to keep the Chiefs' offense off the field. But I don't know. I just can't see myself fading those three running backs, Gurley, Connor, or Hunt. Dude, in my eyes, Kareem Hunt is like almost Todd Gurley because talent-wise, they're really similar. I know people are going to think that sounds crazy, but when you're in such a good offensive scheme, the public perspective of that player is going to be a lot higher than he actually is. And Kareem Hunt and like the Chiefs offense and the Rams offense are very similar. They have awesome offensive pieces on the outside.
Spread the ball out.
They spread the ball out, and they have a really good running back who catches the ball. And now Kareem Hunt catches the ball more. He's taken over Ware's passing role spot, and so he's pretty much like Todd Gurley, except gets like 4 or 5. You could project him for like 4 or 5 less touches.
Run some routes from the slot, maybe.
Yeah, and he's 7.1K, and he scores all of the Chiefs' touchdowns.
And this dude led the league
very similar. Right.
So let's just make the lineup with Hunt. I will say the one thing we were talking about pre-pod in terms of lineup build is we'll get to it later, but if you can, basically what we're thinking is it's probably going to be fading one of like Hunt or Connor, for example, and then being able to pay up at another receiver spot, or if you want to pay up a tight end, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But that's kind of where we're going, paying up a running back, saving a receiver, saving a tight end, saving a defense, and then getting like a mid-range quarterback to kind of pair with those guys. So with all of that build set, let's go. I'm just going to plug in Gurley and Connor. I think we're pretty much set on those two. And we'll talk more about the other running back options in a second. But let's get to the quarterbacks real quick and who we're kind of thinking about here. I'll let Adi kind of go with his first quarterback pick here.
Yeah, I mean, quarterback's interesting because usually we're not interested in paying up at quarterback, but there's just so many interesting options in the high price range. And I'm including like 6K and up as high price. So I just think if you start at 6K, I mean, Goff is so interesting right there. I mean, I think that's where the chalk is probably going to be. Him and Patrick Mahomes at 7K. I'll talk about Jared Goff, though. I mean, we just saw C.J. Beathard rip apart this defense last week. They haven't really changed anything because it's not like they're injured or anything. They're just, like, bad. So they're going to put up points. If like the cool thing about playing Goff is because playing Gurley, I think a lot of people are saying, like, man, Gurley's touchdowns might regress. Like, this guy's a little touchdown dependent. Like, he's a beast, but he's touchdown dependent. I don't think it's going to regress. I think the usage is enough so that Todd Gurley's not going to regress. But if he does regress, pairing him with Jared Goff lets you know, because lets you get that regression to you. You know what I mean? Because I think Jared Goff, like, I played him versus Denver. You know, he put up 8.4 points. He's not getting the touchdowns he deserves for how good he's playing. So I think he's due for some positive touchdown regression. So I love getting that in Goff in a great matchup too. And Aaron Rodgers on the other side,
this is like the best Goff matchup.
It's crazy, man. It's really good.
Because not only is the pass defense awful, but Aaron Rodgers is going to put points on the board and compete with him. Like, right. It's a perfect spot for him.
You would hope so. You would hope Aaron Rodgers does that.
Sure.
And Vegas has the highest this is the highest projected team total I've seen this year at 33. So you can easily project them for 4 to 5 touchdowns. And if you have Goff and Gurley, you're like locking yourself into every single touchdown because it's going to come from one of those two guys. And likely it's going to be a pass to Gurley because now that Kupp is out, they use Gurley in the passing game even more. And we see the splits for Jared Goff since Sean McVay's been the coach, averaging 24.25 fantasy points per game at home and 16.94 fantasy points per game away with a 66% consistency rating at home, a plus 7.1 average plus minus. I don't know, really good at home. It sucks that there's no Cooper Kupp, but he still has Robert Woods moving into the slot, which is probably better. To be honest, I think Robert Woods is quite a bit better than Cooper Kupp, which we'll talk about later. I also think he's a lock.
Yeah. Other guys at quarterback, I know I think we're all pretty much, we were all talking about our lineups before, and I think we're all pretty set on Goff. But is there other guys you're considering either in that price range or if you need to spend down and get a few extra hundred on your team?
I mean, I'm a cash game kind of guy, and so when value's presented to me, I'm just going to take it. And I'm going to be overweight on the Chiefs and Rams, as everyone should be. They're projected for 31 and 33 points at home in smash spots. So either I'm paying up for 7K for Mahomes or I'm going to pay for Goff at 6K. I don't understand Goff's price.
Yeah.
You should be up there with Mahomes, honestly.
Yeah, I think quarterback ownership would be fairly concentrated, but I think there's a lot of guys that you could play in theory. Like Jameis Winston is a absolute smash play this week. Like he is such a good play, and he's such a better play because he's the exact same price as Jared Goff. Like that makes him so much better. Like I'm glad he's not 5,900. I'm glad he's 6K because like everyone's gonna play Goff and Winston. I mean. The Bucks have reverse line movement in their favor. They got 32% of the bets, yet they've gone from +6 to +3.5 on the road versus the Bengals, who are completely banged up right now. Like they're missing Vontaze Burfict, they're missing their slot cornerback, they're missing Nick Vigil, another one of their linebackers. They are banged up. And this game, I mean, obviously the Bucks suck too, so this game has good high probability to shoot out. Jameis Winston, you need to pass the ball to succeed in this offense. That's kind of the scheme. He gives you a good rushing floor. He's a guy who's just kind of going to chuck it, He's projected to be trailing on the road despite Vegas liking him. I mean, I think this is a crazy good spot. I love both his receivers, Mike Evans, Desean Jackson. This spot is, I mean, what else can I say? The Bengals rank 27th in the league in adjusted sack rate. The Tampa offensive line isn't bad. They're like in the top half at keeping their quarterback upright. So
sounds like we just need like a college football lineup where you can play 2 quarterbacks this week.
Yeah, this is a smash. This is great. This is a smash spot. I love it.
Yeah. It is pretty crazy that he's the same price as Goff.
It's like
It makes it.
Would you play it in cash over Goff?
Here's what is the conversation I'm gonna have with myself Sunday morning. I guarantee you I'll have this conversation. Jameis Winston is probably gonna throw the ball twice as much as Jared Goff is. Twice as much. Like I bet Jameis Winston throws the ball like 56 times and Goff throws it like 28. You know? Like
not when they're facing the Packers.
I mean, I'm not fully
projected at like 36. But I agree, it's going to be like 20 more pass attempts.
I'll say that seeing the Packers team total be 23.5, only 23.5 versus the Rams isn't encouraging for me. I will say.
Yeah, that's scary. That is scary, honestly.
I think I mean, we all know inside pressure ruins every quarterback. Aaron Donald's been a man possessed the past 2 weeks. The Rams are shooting up the rankings in adjusted sack rate. It looks like they figured out why they weren't getting pressure to start the season. This could very well just be bad for Aaron Rodgers, like for all we know, which could make fading Goff and just kind of going like Rams defense a good little correlation stack. But just when we're getting a guy who's gonna have the sheer volume of Jameis Winston, like it's all gonna go through him. The touchdowns, it's all going through him.
One more thing I was gonna say about Winston is that what really boosts his rushing upside to me is that they don't have a backfield. Like that backfield is abysmal. So if you get into the red zone, like there's a chance they're just gonna be like, all right, Winston, let's just give him the ball. Either let him pass it on a bootleg or something, or maybe he can run it in.
Yeah.
Or if they're the 1 yard line, instead of giving it to one of their trash running backs, let's let him go over the top. I don't know. I think we're gonna see him score a lot of rushing touchdowns this year. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love Jameis Winston this week.
Yeah, he's a great play. Honestly, now that I think about it, I could consider him over Goff just in the sense because, I mean, it's a dream. Like for a fantasy quarterback, it's a dream spot. I mean, they have literally no defense. You know, they're always going to be trailing. They have no running game whatsoever. He's rushing more than he's ever done before. He rushed 10 times last week. We don't see that much from Jameis Winston. I don't know, 6,000, and it's going to be severely underowned. Definitely a great GPP play.
Wildly underowned, which is wild, which is really crazy, you know, because in a vacuum, man, like if you presented all these stats in a vacuum, like he's probably the better play.
Do we have projected ownership out yet?
I mean, I see the ownership being around, like the top guy that I see right now is Mahomes, then Goff, then Big Ben, then Rodgers, then Dalton, then Luck, and then Winston. Every single one of those guys is in play, though. Like every single one of those guys is a really, really good play. But that's all the more reason because I mean, of those guys, the last two guys I said, Luck and Winston, are probably going to have the highest volume. And that's kind of what you're looking for, man. Like I'm always evolving as like a DFS player, and I think my evolution recently is just towards like sheer volume, bro. Like hockey, give me all the guys who shoot the puck. Basketball, just like give me the usage rate. Like just give me the guys, you know. I think I wasn't really doing that too much early, and I think it's like give me the volume here. Give me Winston, give me Luck, give me these guys that are just going to be the opportunity is just higher, you know.
Let's just go with one of these 6K guys for now. And then we'll move on to kind of some of the cheap running backs, unless you guys have any other cheap quarterbacks you want to talk about. But I think we're pretty much the main three guys we're on. We kind of talked about Mahomes and the two 6K guys. So yeah, running back, we good?
For sure.
I mean, we could talk about everyone.
Yeah, we can talk about everyone. Yeah. Ben is also an awesome play.
I think the Steelers are a great GPP like team to stack up, and not just Connor.
I love that call because. Yeah, I mean, his running back is active in the passing game as well, so you don't really have to worry about – like, the only way he could lose touchdowns is running touchdowns to Connor, which could happen. But, I mean, Ben at home is a beast, and this Browns defense is their secondary is not that good. So.
And Taylor was talking about how AB is so affordable. 8.5 versus the Browns is a good price. But we'll get to receiver in a second. But, yeah. All right, so we talked about Gurley. We talked about Connor. Do you guys want to talk about those guys specifically? I mean, Gurley, I don't even think at this point we need to talk about Todd Gurley. Like, I think there's –
No, I think there is. I think you want to talk about it.
I was going to say Gurley. Do you want to talk about Gurley on FanDuel where he's 11K?
Yeah, still playing. I'm just going to echo what I said last week. I mean, since Sean McVay's been the coach, he's gotten no less than 17 touches in a game, and he scored no less than 25 fantasy points this game. What does he have, 14 touchdowns this year? Their team's projected for 33 points. he's involved in the passing game. He has the highest touchdown equity of any team. Just don't get cute and play it just because there's other good plays on the board. This is a guy that's like a lock for 25, 30 fantasy points, and no other player is like that.
Yeah, just plug him in.
Just make it. Just make it work.
Yeah, just make it work.
Because I've seen so many people this week that are saying that they're playing like 3 mid-range running backs. It just doesn't make sense to me.
If there's any week to do it, I guess it's this week. But just make it. Just make it work, because you don't want to be sitting here going into you don't want to be making your Sunday Night Football showdown teams just tilting the fact that Todd Gurley scoring touchdown after touchdown after touchdown in the evening in the 4:25 game. Just play it,
man. And then Connor. Do you guys want to talk about Connor? Anyone?
Awesome spot for him. Home running back, should score a ton of points.
Should score a ton of points.
Yeah. This dude is like Le'Veon Bell. He's every stat so far this year has been better than Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, he's priced like $2.5K cheaper than we would see Le'Veon in this spot. So, that's why you even asked, should we talk about them? Because I think it's quite straightforward with these two guys.
Yeah.
And this is why you don't draft running backs 4th overall, because it's easy to find running backs.
Hey, how high of a pick was Todd Gurley though?
He was up.
Well, but like I said, Kareem Hunt. I don't even know where he was drafted. I know it was in the later rounds, and like I said, he's just as good as Todd Gurley.
He wasn't in the top 2. I know that. Okay, and then we've got Kareem Hunt, which I think we already talked about enough. We saw what they did with Kareem Hunt last week. He's getting more involved in the passing game, which makes him way more interesting. So let's kind of dip below Kareem Hunt. The first guy I see, honestly, that we haven't even mentioned at all is David Johnson, but that offense is awful. So do you just want to skip over him and go down further?
David Johnson is in play this week if you are on team coach speak, because as you can read here in the DK blurb, there's a new offensive coordinator, this Leftwich dude, and he said that
Byron Leftwich. Wait, is that the old quarterback for the Jaguars?
Yeah, what? I did not know.
That's so.
No, that's why I said Leftwich dude, because I don't want to act like I know who he is or anything.
Byron Leftwich is a coach? What?
I guess.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
What Leftwich talked about was wanting to. I think he had a quote that he wanted to use David Johnson in the Arian Foster role, which is like a in space sort of high receiving usage running back type of role. I don't know if you guys. I'm sure a lot of you remember Arian Foster's role with the Houston Texans, but so something similar to that, which is exactly how this guy succeeds.
Definitely.
David Johnson is made for that. He's a space kind of back, and so if they are using him in that role, his arrow is pointing way, way, way up, and you could be getting a guy who could be like 9K in a very easily. So.
And if you remember Arian Foster, he also had a trash quarterback his entire career. So I'm just saying.
That is true. And he also said he wants to get Larry Fitz more involved. And Larry Fitz is low 4Ks. So if you believe that,
Arizona's so bad.
Oh, they're so bad.
Their line sucks. Their line sucks too.
Their line sucks. Their team total is dropping. So it's not like an ideal spot, but that's why I said if you believe in coach speak, then David Johnson's your guy.
Has he scored 20 DK points this year?
Yeah, because he got 2 touchdowns versus. It was in the same matchup, but
if they get inside the 5, it's going to him.
Right. That's the good thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets all the running back snaps. And we've been saying this the last couple of weeks. The 49ers defense is just like the Atlanta Falcons. Where they hemorrhage all their points to running backs and receiving backs. So
I love hearing that.
If they have a new coach, he's going to rely on,
love hearing that Wi-Fi fight through. I just love hearing it fight.
Me too.
It almost lets it go, and then it's like, no, not yet. I'm gonna keep fighting.
No, but I actually didn't even realize that. That is very true. We did notice that last week that San Francisco does funnel targets to running backs. So that's actually a real valid point.
It's just tough with Kareem Hunt 400 more.
Oh yeah, it's not the smart play.
It's a tournament play.
Definitely a tournament play.
Honestly, I don't know how you fade those 3 running backs. Honestly, it just blows my mind.
It's hard. It's tough. It's hard.
They're all in the exact same spot, and 2 of them are 7.5 and 7.1.
I also like Marlin Mac in this range. He's 5.4K. He's got a big Q by his name, so I think that'll keep his ownership down because people saw questionable by his name a whole week. This guy broke out last week, put up 35 DraftKings points, got 19 carries. He emerged as kind of the lead back, and he does it in the passing game as well. Naheem Hines is kind of there to siphon a few targets away from him, but he does get targets. And this is an offense that's efficient. It plays really fast, and he's got a really, really good matchup. Most importantly, the real reason that none of these Colts running backs were ever in play was because that offensive line was trash. But now they're healthy, and they're looking really good, actually. In the past couple of weeks, it's been one of the best lines in the league, both pass and run blocking. So this is an awesome spot for the Colts in general. And I think you're kind of getting like if it wasn't just a lock-in Gurley and Connor and Hunt week, then I think Marlon Mack would probably be chalk because he's in a really, really good spot.
If we go down further, we talked about Phillip Lindsey, so I'll skip over him, but he's a really good option at 5.2.
Carry-on's right there at 5.
Yeah, Carry-on. He got priced up this week, but I think this game could shoot out. I think this is a sneaky shootout game for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it opened at 49.5 this game, right? What is it sitting at right now? Let me see. Opened at 49 and it's up to 49.5. The Falcon or the Lions have gotten 39% of the bets and they moved from -2.5 to -3. So yeah, I mean it's a home spot. Kerryon Johnson is incredibly talented. He's kind of a 3-down back. The only thing he doesn't get is goal line work, but he's more than capable of scoring from not.
But yeah, Theo Riddick's out again, so he's got the receiving game locked down too. They're scary.
We're losing him.
But yeah,
like Adi said, he's a 3-down. No, he's a 3-down back. But wait, am I good?
No, you're good. You're
good.
He's a 3-down back with a receiving role. But yeah, LeGarrette Blount's gonna get all the 1-yard touchdowns, and that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And with a team never mind. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
Last point is the Lions' offensive line is amazing too. They're really, really good. So
yes.
Okay, we've got Peterson, Howard, Chubb. I think we kind of skip over these guys. We talked about Martin a little bit. Not a lot of interest. Richard probably over him, and then kind of drops off after that. Any interest in Duke Johnson this week?
There's a case to be made. Hugh Jackson said he's going to take over more of the offensive responsibilities for that team, and I don't think that's a good thing for them in general. But one thing Hugh Jackson always says is that he wants to keep getting Duke Johnson involved or start getting Duke Johnson involved. So yeah. I guess him taking over does kind of boost that. It is another coach speak thing, but I'm more likely to buy in on coach speak on a cheap guy, and I'm kind of a sucker for Duke Johnson anyway. So. Could throw him into some tournament teams for sure. But I think the best play in this game is probably just the Steelers defense at 2.3K. That's just that defense should be 90% owned, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I'm selecting a defense, I just go to the bottom and then I'm looking at the first home team. And not only is it the lowest home team, it's against the Browns and Baker Mayfield, who just concede sacks at will seemingly.
Dude, it's just so funny watching Baker Mayfield in the pocket these days.
He's such a dumb player. It's awful. He'll step back and then he'll move back into the pocket blind, and then he'll just run into a bunch of guys and get sacked.
Horrible. He has a problem with stepping into pressure.
He'll figure it out. I think. But
it's a rookie thing, if I'm correct. Right. I don't really know football that well, as much as it may seem, but I'm fairly sure that stepping into pressure is a rookie thing, right? It's something you learn. So I'm sure he'll figure it out.
I'm going to mention Isaiah Crowell just because he could fall into the end zone and could end up getting 20 touches if this game stays mildly close. So, I don't know.
What was that game earlier when they were against the Broncos when we were expecting them to get blown out and he just destroyed them?
Wait, who? Oh, yeah, I remember this. Yeah. He had a big rush. Yeah, 77 yards in that game. There you go.
Wait, no, go down further. It was the game where he had 2 touchdowns, I think.
No, that was it.
He did have 2 touchdowns in that game. Or did he? No,
he had 1.
219 yards.
Scroll down to the bottom.
No, it's right there, bro.
Cleveland right there?
I know what you're talking about. But I was
2 touchdowns.
Detroit.
Oh, Detroit. It was this Detroit game. See, he was in a bad game.
I didn't know he did this.
It was a projected bad game script. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
they'll count me out though. I'm not.
I'm out on that as well. But yeah,
I'll just give him a hat tip for putting up a 100-yard 2-touchdown game.
He definitely is. I mean, even in a negative game script, he's really cheap for his projected workload. Period. I mean, so that's something to say. I mean, and he's also good. If they get inside the 5, he's going to be in. They're going to give him the ball. So, all right, receivers. Let's move on now. That's pretty much the bottom with Isaiah Crowell, I think. I also feel like this podcast is moving very slow. So
yeah, but it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's fine too. Anyone you guys want to talk about at the top? Because I don't think we're really going to like the first guy we're really interested in for cash games. I think is Brandon Cooks for our cash teams because we're paying up at running back.
Woods.
Yeah, my bad. God, Robert Woods. That's funny because I also
we're just gonna give away our team almost.
But receivers above those Rams that you guys are interested in. We talked a little bit about Antonio Brown, but
they're all such good plays. These guys. I mean, they're all like it's a crazy week because there's so, like if you wanna go with a different GPP strategy, like go pay up for wide receivers, and it's a great week to do it because like these wide receivers are in such good spots. Like AB in this spot last year would be like 9.8K. If Tyreek Hill is going to consistently get double-digit targets, like he got 10, and then he got 12 the week prior, then 7 the week prior, 13.
And all of them are just deep shots that could go for a 90-yard touchdown.
Yeah, just such high upside targets. If he's getting 12, 13 targets in this offense, then he is more than worth 8.6K. Devontae Adams, he may be the only option left on this Rams versus a unimposing Rams team. AJ Green and Mike Evans back and forth in the shootout, both in plus spots. There's a
lot of game stacks.
You know,
a ton of game stacks this week. That's a really that Tampa Bay one is a great game.
Yeah,
a great one.
Yeah, Gurley, Connor, Kareem Hunt are all going to be such high owned and. It's not like there isn't other good cheap running back plays. Like we said, we like Phillip Lindsey, we like Kerryon Johnson. If you go down there and then pay up for wide receiver, I mean, imagine the last 2 years, seeing Antonio Brown at home versus Cleveland for 8.5K. Imagine how high owned he would be. He would be like 80, 90%. And nothing really has changed this year. I mean, outside of him like having connection problems with Ben, and I think it's mostly Ben being kind of washed at this point. But Antonio Brown still has a 27% target share and a 36% market share of air yards. He's still out there.
Yeah, this feels like a very sharp Steelers smash spot. You know. Like you could get both. This feels like a classic Steelers smash spot where multiple guys are valid on top GPP winning teams. You know.
Yo, how much is Vance McDonald? Is that a thing?
I mean, you can check it out if you want.
I'm just saying, like 3.7. I don't know. Anyway,
but yeah, then you kind of hit like a funky range with like Juju through like. I mean, not really a funky range because then you got Woods right there, Woods and Cook.
Yeah, pretty much these guys don't really think about too much, but yeah.
I mean, I think Woods is probably the top point per dollar wide receiver on this slate. Is that safe to say on DraftKings?
I think so.
No, probably Martavis.
Damn, you're on Martavis, man. I could see myself not playing Martavis. I'll say it. I could see myself not. I love Martavis. Like, and I think he's super talented, obviously. But man, like, I'm not itching or dying to play Derek Carr. Derek Carr's second to last in aggressive throws. Like he doesn't take chances. He's just such a he's not good. He's so bad, bro. He's bad.
Horrible, yeah.
Like I'm just like it's such an awesome spot, but like I could see myself just being like, you know what, Cortland Sutton is 100 more, and I'm a Cortland Sutton fanboy. I'll just play him. You know, I could totally.
That's what I was
saying.
You
want to talk about a bad? You're talking about how Derek Carr is bad. You look at Case Keenum.
I know that on Sunday morning, Adi's going to be talking about Cortland Sutton over him.
Oh, yeah.
I just know what's going to happen. Like,
I'll play both.
I'll probably do it. I mean, like you can. I mean, if you play up for all these running backs, you might have to play both. I mean, you probably do have to play both, but I could totally see myself doing it. It's a similar spot. I mean, Cortland Sutton runs a bunch of routes. We know for a fact he's going to be on the field because we know for a fact he's going to be trailing. Kansas City just never stops. They like to bury opponents, so they're just going to keep running up the score. And I think they're going to throw the ball so much. And if they're throwing the ball,
he should have the worst matchup, right? He should get Fuller, I think.
I believe Fuller's a slot cornerback.
Okay.
So I think the outside quarterback matchups are actually what you want to target with Kansas City.
Yeah, it's the outside.
But I mean, they do get whipped by slot wide receivers as well. That's why Emmanuel Sanders is a great play.
Sanders is a great play. I love Sanders.
But yeah, I mean, just to harp a little more on Cortland Sutton, they were looking to trade Demaryius Thomas. They're fully ready to let Cortland Sutton go. And like I said, in every Addy's action, it feels like he's been fingertips away from over 20 points, like literally over and over and over again. And he gets a lot of looks in the end zone. So he's a big, strong wide receiver, and he's fast, and I love him. And I'm going to play him over Martavis Bryant most likely. So
no, you just play both.
Maybe. I mean, probably, but like.
I mean, do we just want to put both in this lineup just for this?
No, don't put both in because
I mean, we have 3-9 per right now. We can throw in a cheap defense real quick.
We're gonna get way too similar to like where we're looking. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, yeah, I think so. So let's try and like
entering in players. Stop entering players.
Yeah, let's like deviate it up a bit. Let's take a running back out and let's throw like another running back in here.
Yo, let's throw in Carry on instead of Connor.
So let's have that Connor or Hunt straight up. Who do you want?
I just Hunt.
You want Hunt straight up over Connor? All right.
Better offense, better running back.
Okay, bet. And then all right, so let's leave
better matchup
and Carry on. I like that. Let's do that.
Carry on or Mac?
Carry on.
I like. Ooh.
Or Lindsey, but Lindsey's a little chalky, I think.
They're all great plays. They're all great
for the Detroit game.
Yeah, go ahead and throw Carry on in.
Okay. All right. So then we can – I mean, we have a little bit of space now.
A little bit more, yeah. A guy I really like if we go a little cheaper in the wide receiver range, Desean Jackson. He leads Jameis in Jameis Winston's past 2 starts, he leads the team in air yards. He's very close to popping off for a huge game. I already talked about how beat up this Bengals defense is. And I mean, Desean Jackson, if his quarterback has a clean pocket, Desean Jackson's going to eat. He's going to let his his A dot shine. I was like in the middle of saying air yards and A dot, but he's going to let his A dot shine. And I think he's very close to popping off for a huge week. So I'm really interested in him at this price. 5,300 is way too cheap.
Plug him in.
I say plug him in.
Stack him up with Jameis Winston.
I love it.
Cool. Oh yeah, let's
just throw in Sutton too.
All right, can we put it
instead of Martavis? Throw in Sutton.
Can we put in a cheap defense real quick so we have that done?
I mean, the only defense in play is the Steelers. It's like the only one. Like,
if you're not playing the Steelers defense, you're probably doing it wrong. Well, you are doing it wrong.
All right, so
for this team, let's plug in the Lions because they're only 100 more, and like it pairs with Carry On, and we don't have James Conner, so let's just to switch it up, you know?
Okay.
Like, let's just go Lions, but I just want to make very clear this podcast endorses the Steelers defense.
You want to move to tight end before we pick our last receiver?
Yeah, might as well.
Cool. Taylor, were you looking for cash games for tight end?
It's rough. It's between Jimmy Graham and Ricky Seals-Jones for me, just because Ricky Seals-Jones is only $3K, and it's not the best. He has a 17% target share, leads the team in air yards. So I've been playing them the last couple of weeks. Some of the weeks it works, some of the weeks it doesn't. But for $3K, it seems like a super good value to me. And like we said, San Francisco's defense is much like Atlanta's, where it hemorrhages all the fantasy points to the middle. So you like the slot receivers against them, tight ends, receiving backs against them, and Ricky Seals-Jones is right in that situation.
If we go there, we'll have 7-3 left. So we can.
I say we actually go to one guy I want to talk about, O.J. Howard. I think O.J. Howard's a really good – I think he's probably my favorite cheap, like lower than 4K option. He kind of emerged as the tight end one. Cameron Brate will always have a role. He could steal a touchdown here or there, but O.J. Howard, 9 targets, set his career highs in routes run and snaps played last week. So he is out there. He's running routes. And the tight end for Jameis Winston has always been a super targetable spot. And in addition to the tight end versus Cincinnati also being a super targetable spot. So I love O.J. Howard. I think we should double stack it right now. We should do that.
Yo, how crazy are the weapons for Jameis?
Oh, it's wild. It's crazy.
Evans, Desean Jackson, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, Chris Godwin.
Oh, that's sick. T.Y. Hilton, right?
T.Y. Hilton. That's crazy because we skipped right over him at receiver. I was just thinking, I'm like, T.Y. is back. Like, T.Y. is back.
T.Y.'s back in probably the NFL's most fantasy-friendly pass game.
And you know what? Honestly, I was talking about Robert Woods earlier. I think I might like T.Y. Hilton more.
Ooh.
Wow.
Just because like what we were saying earlier, I mean, Luck is going to throw like 45, 50 times. Goff isn't going to throw very much unless Rodgers is really matching the Rams. And he had a super – here, I'll bring up his target share right now.
Yeah, I mean, this Oakland defense generates absolutely no pressure. So Andrew Luck's going to have plenty of time for to hit T.Y. Hilton on any route. And T.Y. Hilton runs a bunch of diverse routes too. So he's not a deep threat that people might think he is because he does have that ability, but he runs routes everywhere. So he's
his ADOT's only 9.4 yards. So wow. Yeah, it's definitely deceptive.
That's interesting. That's actually really interesting. But yeah, he's going to be needed. They're going to need him this week.
Love that both those touchdowns came in the red zone last week. That's sick.
Yep, Oakland loves giving up big passing plays too. So
yeah, I mean, it's a really good spot.
Speed versus Oakland. Forgot about that. Speed versus Oakland. Oakland's a very slow defense, like the Patriots. Speed versus both those teams are in play.
So there's a team for you guys. If you guys are listening on the podcast, if you guys are listening on just iTunes, the team that we built, and we might still talk about tight ends here at the end. I don't know if we went through everyone because we haven't talked about Jimmy Graham.
More guys we'll talk about. Yeah.
But let's just run through the team is Jameis Winston, Todd Gurley, Kareem Hunt, Desean Jackson, Cortland Sutton, T.Y. Hilton, O.J. Howard, Kerryon Johnson, and the Lions. I feel like I talked too fast through the beginning of that, but
that team is filthy. And you can also just go Martavis over Sutton and just run it back with Hilton and Tavis.
Yep.
That's a dope team.
Yeah, actually for a GPP kind of team, even though Martavis would be higher owned than Sutton, the correlation is definitely there. This team is really correlated.
Do you guys have other tight ends real quick before we get off of here?
Yeah, I like Jimmy Graham. I was just talking before the pod to the boys that like I just think that these high scoring offenses like Atlanta and LA are so comfortable just giving up targets over the middle because you can rarely you can't get beat over the top if you're just giving up little stuff over the middle. So I think they leave this stuff open intentionally because they know like how easily it is for them to score points. They're like, you know what? Let's just hold teams, field goals, give up all this little stuff. In addition to the fact that their linebacking core is kind of weak. But Jimmy Graham, he's always been a guy that's got massive touchdown equity. So if he's getting 10 or 9 targets, like he's a lock. And the past 2 weeks he has because of the depleted depth on Green Bay's wide receiver core. I'm not sure how that depth is looking this week, actually. That's one piece I didn't look at. I'm actually going to pull it up right now because I want that information. Because if both Cobb and Allison are out, and I would project Jimmy Graham for 9-10 targets. And I see Cobb as questionable. Allison will play. So that is kind of like a knock on Jimmy Graham, but it's not that big. I love Jimmy Graham at that price in what should be a shootout. So
that's definitely a reason why I noticed the targets have been up, and that was kind of the reason why these last 2 weeks, those both came without both of those guys.
Yeah.
I still think you could pretty easily project him for 8 or 9 targets.
Oh yeah.
I think they're going to be. I mean, how many times is Rodgers going to pass? Like 55 times.
Yeah.
I wonder what the prop bet is on that. Whatever it is, I take the over.
I mean, Vegas never likes to push it too much, so I think it'll probably be like.
It'd be like 43, 44 or something.
I was going to say like 39.5 or something because that's usually like how high Vegas likes to push those. But maybe they'll push it up to the.
It was. I know what he's gonna say. He's gonna mention which one was like really bad one week. It was an Andrew Luck line 1 week. I remember being.
Yeah, it was Andrew Luck, and it was like 37.5, and they were supposed to get smashed, and he threw like 60 times.
Remember that Kirk Cousins prop?
No, it was Kirk Cousins. That's what it was.
That's the one I sent out. I sent out that Kirk Cousins prop where he threw the prop was 37.5, and he threw 36 times in the first half.
Dude, it's about to be so crazy.
It's incredible how exploitable prop bets are. Like
for sure.
Yeah.
I really wonder if it's gonna get fixed when like FanDuel and DraftKings have these sports books because there are a lot.
Well, there's a lot of like prop bets have their role because a lot of them are tough and people still bet those ones, Yeah. So there is a role. Prop bets just seem easy for us. I feel like because we're so player oriented as far as like DFS players go. So like we're just so like we get hooked on players and then we realize how poor that prop bet is after a whole week's worth of research. So
yeah,
but Yeah, I think that's it. As far as tight end goes, like
Yeah, I think that should be probably be good. We talked about 3 of them. And there'll be more on the cheat sheets that Taylor puts out every week, and more probably if he talks about one in his video or whatever. Okay. I think that should pretty much be it. We'll have more. Addy's action should be out tomorrow on Saturday. Taylor's locks of the week will be out tomorrow as well, I believe. So he said he's going to be uploading that tomorrow morning. So all of that is out tomorrow. NHL, NBA, college football, soccer. It's all going tomorrow. So
big day.
Get in with locksdfs.com and get in our Slack. Start talking with us. And also, again, if you haven't commented and subscribed, that'll enter you to win a free pass from us where you can get in our Slack chat for free. But, yeah, if you want to get in for a week, you can get a week pass, a month, all that stuff, all on locksdfs.com. Follow us all on Twitter, @locksdfs. I am @byhardy. Taylor is @Taylor Stuber. And Adi is @reallyaddy. Let's have a good weekend, guys.
Yep, let's do it. Peace.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys soon.